I know you guys get this before. I mean, growing up around here, this place has influenced my music and like how I view music and I mean, bands like the West Coast bands or European bands, they're all kind of influenced by where they come from. I mean, obviously you guys have a big influence from Baton Rouge or New Orleans. I mean, can you talk about that a little?
That's you, Matthew.
It's Matthew.
Well, musically, I think like we always say, our bigger influences are like 90s music, like grunge era kind of stuff. But as far as locally, we definitely take things from Crowbar and I Hate God and bands like that. But it's more of a filter for our other influences
Mm-hmm.
rather than like the main inspiration. But like Brian always says, I think we have more akin with like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Nirvana than I Hate God, even though it's obvious to make that reference.
Right.
But we do love I Hate God. We used to say, whenever we used to write songs, we would say, what would I Hate God do at this point? So definitely influenced, but
Cool. How do you guys balance touring and your jobs? I mean, how do you are you just able to tell your bosses that we have to take off for a little while?
essentially, yeah. I mean, none of us, except Brian, you have the realest job of all of us. The rest of us, I mean, I wash dishes. You're something.
I'm a
You do
waiter.
something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we don't tour very much either. We do
Right.
like a summer tour, like a 3-week summer tour, and then a week here and a week there if we can.
Not even, I would say. Like
Well,
this week.
we haven't
This
done
week
anything
now
since the
for
summer.
us is like exceptional because usually like last year we were recording over Mardi Gras, so we just stayed in
Yeah.
town. And
Yeah, we
then-
haven't gone out since summer, right?
Yeah, the other stuff we do is usually like weekend stuff, so it'll be like 2, maybe 3 days, and that's like maybe every few months we'll do something like that. We have a few things lined up the next couple of months, but that's sort of not really the norm.
Okay.
And for me, like I basically have to use all of my vacation time to go out. To go out during the summer. I blow through all my vacation time and have to do extra work, like flex time, in order to take off more days. And like for this, I had to go in for like 3 Sundays to be able to take off the extra time. I work at a university, so
Right.
I usually get off when the school's out or whatever. But these guys, I mean, their schedules aren't like that, so I mean, we sort of still have to play it. And Andy works at a guitar shop, so like some of the key times when I'm off, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, are like the busiest times for his job. So it's
I'm
it's
sure
hard.
it's tough.
Yeah.
We just don't tour that much. I mean, I'm always surprised when people act like we tour all the time because I feel like we barely tour at all. We do like 3 weeks every year.
Right.
We do the
couple
little
outings.
stuff.
It's
a
not
couple
like you
stuff.
guys are doing 200 shows a year or anything,
Yeah,
but
nothing.
I mean,
we've barely done 200 shows as a band.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we haven't been up here in like 3 years. This is the first time we've been up here since like
Now we're
2008.
hopefully planning on starting to tour more if Brian will quit his job.
yeah,
We're trying to convince him to quit his job, tour like 10 days a month, take the rest of the month off, then tour 10 days a month or something. Just get out for a little while, see if we can do it like that, and see what happens. If we can get Brian to quit his job.
I mean, or if I get this, I got another something that might pop up that would be more flexible, but I have a lot of commitments at home, so it's hard for me to just leave financial commitments. So
Right.
it's hard for me to just leave. And I mean, these guys aren't. Nobody in that is like well off or anything.
no.
I mean, we're all pretty
I'm losing money on this tour for
usually
sure.
pretty destitute.
Destitute is the word.
Yeah.
All right. How do you guys work together when you're writing music? I mean, I'm sure you guys work together, like you said in the Scion interview. Like you guys work together, work with the music, and then Brian comes in with the lyrics.
It's usually Matthew or Andy will sit at home, write a riff, or a couple riffs, bring it to practice, and then show us the riff. And if it gets the 2 thumbs up, then we press on and learn it, and then see what happens from there. There's not much jamming that goes on, even though I try to push that to happen. They're not in that. So yeah, it's usually if one of them has a riff, everybody will spit ideas in and see what happens. But it's usually these dudes just
Cool.
being bored at home and writing stupid riffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you guys just played at Wunderhaus. How was that gig?
It was cool. It wasn't actually at the house though. It was they moved it to Ear Ecstasy, the record
Oh, okay.
store. But it was awesome. Played with Seder and played this band Below. Plenty of people. It was good.
Awesome.
The people at the record store are super, super nice.
Cool.
It was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
it
know
was
Mr. Lon loves you guys. He's a good friend of mine.
Austin. Yeah, he was cool. We stayed with him. Stayed with him and Becca.
Awesome.
Made us tons of awesome food.
Sweet.
Some delicious food. Really good nachos. Yeah, they're great.
Awesome. And on that note, like, who are some of your favorite bands that you guys have played with in the past? I know you guys have played with tons of great bands.
We've been pretty lucky.
Who are maybe like the top 5 that?
Top 5. Moloch is one.
I mean, every band we've done splits with.
Cattywampus. They're from New Orleans. Yeah.
I
Have
don't
we?
remember. I don't think we had.
Torch.
Torch is awesome.
Love Torch. Salome.
Salome.
Yeah, every band that we've done a split with, except for Human Intruder, is like a friends, pretty much.
Right.
So
They
we
don't,
like
they
that.
don't even play live. They're just
Yeah.
like a studio band or whatever. Pygmy Lush, Turbo Sled,
Pygmy Lush.
Salome, Stockade, Ratstorm. I don't know.
Torch.
Torch.
Yeah.
A million bands. I don't know. There's a lot of good local New Orleans bands too. So a couple good Baton Rouge bands.
I Hate God. Played with them one time.
I Hate God. We
That
did
was
play with
fun.
them. Mike Williams made fun of us. It was
My
pretty
uncle's
funny.
in that. My uncle. I was weird.
Uncle Williams.
It was weird. That's my uncle is in I Hate God, and we didn't know that for a long time. But once we found out, it was pretty cool to play with like my long lost uncle. It was weird that we started this band and not modeled after I Hate God, but turned out to be related to that dude.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
And last question, what do you guys want to do with the future with Thou? Where do you
What?
want to be in 5 years?
I want one of us, preferably me, to die, so that we'll get really famous. And
But
That's
not
about
be
it.
able to do anything.
well, I have to die pretty soon.
Before you
because
turn
before
28.
I turn 28, which is only like a month or two. So
We're working on that.
I hope I can succeed.
No, hopefully we'll be long done with this band in 5 years. We'll have done everything, and we can move on with our actual
Long
lives.
done.
We can move on with our lives and start families and get real jobs and
Just
I have a real job.
American dream.
yeah. Well, the rest of us.
You guys need real jobs.
I gotta quit this band to get a real job.
I'm thinking we'll probably have like another 20 or 30 more records by then. Done a couple more
In
tours.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 20 or 30 more records.
The only thing I really want to do with Thou now is tour to Japan and then tour to Hawaii by boat. We
Yeah.
talked about flying up to the north, like Seattle, touring down, sailing over to Hawaii, playing a week's worth of shows, sailing back. If that isn't going to happen, then I might be pretty close to done now.
Australia.
Australia, yeah. That could be cool.
We're talking about doing that in December.
For
Possibly.
me now,
Cool.
that was a vehicle just to travel the world as much as possible. We've seen the United States a couple times, so that's
Too much.
boring. But
Yeah.
other countries, when we're done with that, then we'll definitely break up.
No, we go to space.
We'll play in space, yeah.
Space.
Space shows.
Well, cool, guys. I really appreciate your time and really enjoyed your performances.
Thanks. man.
Thanks.
All right.
This was fun.
This is Thou, signing off. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.